Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Now, when I left off, I had just beaten the Lost Sinner. Now it's time to go for one of the other four lords, is what it'd basically be. Now, I don't know if I want to go after the Rotten or the Old Iron King. I'm thinking about going for the Rotten. Now, as you can see, if you don't have the Silver Cat Ring, you're most likely going to die there. And if you want to, there's a boss in here, but it is completely optional. You don't have to do it unless you want to get the disc chime. Because for you to get the disc chime, I'm actually going to use the Mace of the Insolent going through here. And I'm going to pop back over here. Drop the Great Magic Weapon. And go pick up Flame Weapon. Because with the Mace of the Insolent, you effectively have well, I infused this weapon wrong. I should have made it magic instead of dark. As you can see, there's an item in there, but you can't get to it unless you beat the boss in this area. And there's Pharos Lock stone contraptions all over this place. Like this one. It puts out all the torches. This one down here on the ground here, we're lowered that drop bridge there. This one will start a waterfall, which will put out any torch or any fire that you have if you go through it. You climb up the ladder. This one right here drops this second drop bridge. And all the Pharos contraptions along the walls here, just those rat statues, they will pour out armor and weapon corroding acid, pretty much. And I tend to activate them all just because. But if you go across this bridge, and just run to right here, you get Whisper of Despair and a torch. What Whisper of Despair does is it lowers enemies' defense. And basically, it's a short and sweet area. I'm going to swap out my stasises for these poison manslayers. And I'm just going to power stance them. But I will infuse one of them with Resonant Weapon. And then into the boss fight. But be warned, it's actually a mob before the boss fight. Basically, you have to kill like 10 rats, like 10 to 20 rats, before you can even get to the boss. And be warned, because the rats can and most likely will petrify you if you're not paying attention. See, at 10, the boss's health bar shows up. Then he drops, and he can make you toxic. But once you beat him, all the other rats run off, and you can still kill them and everything. It's just not really worth it because they run off pretty fast. And here's a covenant that you can join, but it's not really worth it. So I'm just going to stay in the Blue Sentinels. And here's that item I was showing you earlier. And now I'm going to go back to my fists. Like, whenever you want to power stance, the weapons kind of have to be like swords. If you're going to try to power stance a sword, a dagger, it basically has to be in the same weapon category. Like, if you're going to try to do a great sword, you have to have another great sword. And as you can see, I missed going to get the disc chime, but if you jump that, that's where the disc chime is. As you can see, like, I tend to use the Ring of the Giants in the Stone Ring for, like, the Ring of Giants boosts your poise, while the Stone Ring helps you just destroy your opponent's poise. Basically, you want to use a weapon with a lot of poise damage if you're going to use the Stone Ring. And as you can see, I just got the disc chime. And basically what it is it's categorized as a chime, but you can use it as like a 90 physical reduction shield. Or my bad, an 80 physical reduction shield. And as you can see, there's 6 of those guys. And they tend to be a pain in the ass. Ooh, but before I leave this area, if you actually manage to survive that fight, or you just run away from them, you're going to want to do that twice if you're going to run away from them. One, when you fall down, if you get the disc chime, go to the right and you can actually pick up Great Heal. And then go to the left if you survived picking it up, and go through the other door across from you. And you can just like drop off and everything. On this body here, it's a human effigy. And I just died because my character rolled too far. Before I leave here again, I'm going to show you the other way of getting down to the gutter, is what it's called. But for this, I'm actually going to attune Fall Control. And then put on the Silvercat ring. Because the effects do stack. And as you can see, Fall Control will absorb a lot of damage. But that's also how you get to the Ring of the Evil Eye. But there's a way to get to that platform right here. And I'll show you that when I come back up here. But you can roll off, land there, and go through here. And you're basically going to want to have some sort of ranged weapon for this Titanite lizard here, if you don't want it to just run off and fall off down there with the exploding guys. And if you're actually good enough, you can actually kill at least 2 of the dudes who explode before you fall down there. But if you run and jump across the hole and open this chest, you get the Ash Knuckle Ring. And what it does is it increases your petrification resistance. And here's what the white ring does. It makes you look like a phantom. But the 2 secret rings that you get at the end of the game are this one, which makes your left hand weapon disappear, and this one, which makes your right hand weapon disappear. Because as you can see, I'm using both of my fist weapons. Here's my Staff of Wisdom and my Sunset Staff, my Mace of the Insolent, and my bow. But it's really kind of not worth it unless you're going to do PvP, which I'm not going to do right now. Like, here's how much each of the spell rings will increase your resistance by. Okay, you see how I have 318 magic resistance, which is this one right here. Watch what it goes to whenever I just go down to the spell quartz ring. It goes up 50. My flame is at 320, which is right below my magic resistance, and it goes up to 370. My lightning resistance, which is right below it, goes up to 298. And if you can actually get your resistances up over 1,000, it will not damage you at all. And my dark resistance goes to 343. And if you can see, my poise here is at 61. With the Ring of the Giants, it goes up 10. As you can see, if you're good enough, you can just use a bow to kill all of them. I barely survived that. But if you look through all of these and come to right here, here is the first token of spite you get if you don't get lucky enough to invade somebody with your red eye orbs. As you can see, since I'm hollow, I can't use my cracked blue eye orbs. Well, I just can't use them in this area. But I'm going to go ahead and become human and heal up. And you want to try to have a lot of stuff to get rid of poison in here. What you're going to do is fall off there. And walk around this way. And then roll right there. You land up here. You can destroy these vases to get a life gem. And then basically just run and jump. And you're at the bonfire. Now, as you can see, I have 5 more minutes on my torch, but I'm not going to use it. Well, I'll use it for one part and one part only. To light just a few things. Then what you're going to want to do is run and jump across. Light that. Come to right here. Climb up the ladder. And light this. Now, I'm going to swap to an actual sword in one of my hands. And I'm just going to swap to the actual greatsword. Because for one, this next area is going to call for it. And that's how you get Havel's armor and shield. To get Dragon Tooth, you actually have to wait till later in the game. And for returning Dark Souls players, Dragon Tooth won't be as how you remember it. Since I got rid of all of them, I can swap back down to my fist weapon. And you can just roll off to that. And if you're good enough, you can just walk off there, and here's your Dark Pyromancy Flame and your Rotten Pine Resin. What the Dark Pyromancy Flame does is it's the same thing as your Pyromancy Flame. It's just, it deals more fire damage. Well, it increases your fire damage the hollower you are. Like, there's really almost no difference at all. I'm going to relight my torch so I can actually see through this area. Yeah, and be warned when you get to this bridge here, because a mummy will run at you. And what it tries to do is it tries to launch you off of the bridge there. Now I'm going to climb up this so I can kill this guy and not have to worry about it. And I'm going to light this brazier. And then open this chest. I don't remember what's in this chest, so we'll find out. Oh, and I'm going to kill this torch guy before I actually pick up the items. Because if you're lucky enough, they will drop a torch, and it's 3 black fire bombs. Now, there's a lot of these torch things around, but they actually help out in the long run. Now I'm going to relight my torch, even though I'm almost out of time on it. Kind of be careful where you walk here, because you can fall in. Then have to go through all of those poison shooters, as I'm going to have to. And as you can see, it's really hard to go through that spot. Because if you actually get hit in the jump, you'll drop and either fall or land on the edge of that little gap. And then you'll get hit again and fall off. But since I'm back here, I'm going to reattune and swap fall control for cast light. Because as you can see, cast light is actually a bit better to use here instead of a torch. And I'm going to go this way first so I can show you some stuff over here. But as you can see, the cast light is actually a better choice to use because it puts out more light than a torch does. One poison throwing knife. Oh, look, I just got 5 more minutes for my torch. I'm going to swap out the Ring of Giants for the Lingering Dragon Crest ring so my cast light will last longer, and what you get out of that urn is a large soul of a nameless soldier. I'm going to come this way, roll across to this, drop down here, and come in here. Even though there's absolutely nothing in here. Then I'm going to climb up this ladder here. I'm going to run and jump across to this. And find out what's in this chest. The Ring of Soul Protection. And I just failed at that. Let's find out what's in this chest. A twinkling titanite and 3 small, smooth, and silky stones. Ooh, more poison throwing knives. I'm gonna see if I can make this jump right here. Oh, and look, I did. Let's see if he drops a torch. And he did it. This one dropped the poison throwing knife. And see, I actually made it across that time. But I got poisoned again. And now you see what I mean by keep a stock of poison moss handy. And here's your second bonfire in this area. Now I'm going to show you how to get the Great Club. What you're going to want to do is from the bonfire, skip the first ladder and go to the one with the two vases in front of it and just fall down it. You can actually take the time to kill this enemy, or you can just completely ignore it and fall down right here. And you got 3 rotten pine resins there. Then you're going to come over here to the right and land on air like I did. Or almost die exactly like I did. But this chest here, there's the Great Club. If you come over here to behind this ladder, you got 20 life gems. If you run over here and break through these, you get your dark fog and another 5 minutes for your torch. But at this spot, be careful because these things can and will break your armor. And here's another fragrant branch of yore. And now I'm down in Black Gulch, which is the home to the Rotten, another one of the 4 great souls you have to find before you can go to Castle Drang Lake. And I'm going to become human here. And if you come to right here and you look down, there's a little spot you can fall off onto. I suggest doing that if you've already talked to Lucatil in the Unseen Passage to Hide and in the Lost Bastille. Because here she gives you the Ring of Steel Protection +1, which increases all your physical resistances. And if you talk to her here, you can actually use her in the Rotten's boss fight. And basically just keep talking to her. You can sit there and listen to her dialogue or skip it like I did, because it's just the same things over and over and over again. As you can see, I got poisoned again. But I'll show you a way to not get poisoned in a minute. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kill those things. Be warned, because that basically is their only attack. And if you get lucky, they will drop you a hex. As you can see, I didn't get lucky enough for that. Now I'm going to change the type of arrows I have equipped to fire arrows. Use cast light again. If you come right here, there's a spot for you to drop off onto. And if you've gotten the Forgotten Key already, here's another door for you to open. Here in a second, I'll actually show you how to get the Forgotten Key. But you come over here and talk to this guy. You have to run into him 3 separate times before you can join his covenant. You run into him here, in the Shaded Ruins, and then again in Castle Drangleic, in the room with all the Ruin Sentinels in the very last door on the left when you walk in. But to open the door, you actually have to kill an enemy near it. But to get the Forgotten Key to open that door, all you have to do is kill these 2 giants. I suggest either using fire or poison. As you can see, I killed one of them. And here's number 2. Once you kill both of them, the last one you killed will drop a Soul of a Giant and the Forgotten Key. You kind of be warned, their attacks actually have more range than they look like they have. They have phantom range. But yeah, they would normally drop a Forgotten Key and the Soul of a Giant. And then this, you get your Ring of Giants +1 and your Petrified Dragon Bone. And I'm actually going to swap to my Ring of Giants +1 because it raises your poise by 20. If you actually just run and jump across the hole there, you get 4 more Silver Talismans. If you got the 2 in I keep forgetting the name of that place. But here's one of your 2 NPC summons. And honestly, I suggest running over to the bonfire over this way before you go and summon the Lone Hunter Schmidt. If you notice, I'm just getting a lot of sorceries, and I'm going to unequip my Sunset Staff so I can have a bit more roll. But if you notice, here's Lucatiel of Mira. If you roll through those, the item here is a Pharaoh's Lockstone. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run and jump to miss a lot of the poison, and then just roll over to the Lone Hunter Schmidt, and then just effectively roll up against the wall all the way over to the boss door. And then go in. Schmidt's going to get poisoned no matter what you do. And here is the run. He has an obscene hitbox. So I suggest just letting your phantoms roll up and in. And let them take the heat off of you while you just effectively murder the Rotten. And if you want the achievement for inheriting Lucatiel of Mira's stuff, you're going to want to get her to survive 3 of the 4 boss fights you can use her in. Like for me, she survived the first one, which was the Flexile Sentry. But she didn't survive the fight up against the Lost Sinner. But she survived that fight. Now all she has to do is survive the fight with the Smelter Demon in a little bit. But yeah, that's one of the great souls you need. But if you notice the little item across the little pit of fire there, if you run and jump, you won't get hit by much. But it's a fire seed, which you need to upgrade your Pyromancy Flame. But for those of you who've played Dark Souls 1 and went through the trouble of all of that all them souls, it's easier that way because each upgrade costs about the same. All you have to do is have a fire seed. And as you can see, I got another Sublime Bone Dust. And here's your Primal Bonfire. And if you notice that thing over here in the back, this is how you go to the first add-on, which is Sholva, the Sunken City, which almost every enemy in the area will poison you. But what I tend to do is I go and light the first bonfire. But now, for those of you who don't have the DLCs, that spot is still going to be there. And when you come in, you won't be able to open that door. But if you put your summon signs down on these, you can be summoned into one of 2 different areas. One here is where you go get into a triple fight. And I don't quite remember where the second one is. But what you do basically, if you have the DLC, is you just run over to the bonfire, And then you see the main boss of this DLC, which is Sin, the Slumbering Dragon. And if you noticed, he has a giant spear through him. And when you kill him, you get his soul, and you can effectively use his soul to make that spear that he's stuck with. If you come down the stairs just to the left of the bonfire, you get something called the Old Growth Balm. What it does is it increases your strength by 5 for a limited amount of time. There's 4 different colors. One for strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith. But now I'm going to go back to Majula and keep going for a little bit. Well, at least start going to the next boss. And boss soul weapons, if you actually made them, are upgraded with Petrified Dragon Bone to +5. And before I leave here to go to the next boss, I'm actually going to run over here and talk to the armor merchant and buy 8 of the Twin Dragon Great Shields. And then I'm going to run back to the bonfire and rest at it. As you can see, I'm upgrading my Estus flasks strength, not number. But you can only get up to 12 Estus flasks at +5. But I'm going to burn 2 bonfire aesthetics and then show you why. Now the bonfire intensity here is at 3. which effectively makes it New Game Plus 2. But if you talk to Corellian of the Fold and you go back up towards the Way of the Blue Covenant, but turn left after you pass like the little wall of rock and go to the tree, you'll see Corellian of the Fold again. And instead of just, and he still sells one of all of his stuff. But for now, he's the only one you can go to reinforce your Pyromancy Flame. I'm just going to come over here and reattune spells. Yeah, and a lot of hexes actually take up like 2 attunement slots. There's actually one that takes up 3, or is there one that takes up 4? See, there's one that takes up 3. Yeah, Climax takes up 4 attunement slots. And what it does is, if you use Climax, it will take all of these souls that you have, like not in your inventory, but in your counter, and use them all to fuel the strength of the spell. But in honest opinion, Great Resonant Soul is stronger. Now I'm just going to break the Royal Rat Vanguard Soul. Just so I can have a couple of extra souls. But if you notice, after I made the Bonfire plus 3, I got the Moon Butterfly hat, wings, cuffs, and skirt. What that does is the legs poisons nearby foes and increases length of jump. The cuffs just poison nearby foes. The wings increase this length of jump and poison just nearby foes. And the hat just butterfly, it just poisons nearby foes. But if you scroll down some more past the Falconeer armor, you'll have the Armor of the Lost Sinner. And honestly, the only 2 parts that are actually worth it are the helm and the handcuffs.
I'm rich. I don't need that. Have some patience.
And the cuffs increase the strength of pyromancy, and the helmet increases your equipment load. But if you see, here's Lycia. And when she moves here, after you buy all of her spells and get so far in, she'll she'll start selling unlimited of every miracle that she has. At one point, I ended up having like 30 different uses of Sunlight Spear. Well, not Sunlight Spear, Lightning Spear, my bad. But at maximum, you can only have like 16 attunement slots. Just keep coming up through here. And over here to the right is Falcon. And he's basically the guy you get your first hexes from. And Magic Barrier. You get Dark Orb, Dark Weapon, Resonant Soul, Great Resonant Soul, Resonant Flesh, and Resonant Weapon. And he also sells Dark Pine Resins and a Ring of Life Protection. And the Archdrake Staff and Chime. And if you have enough intelligence and faith and you talk to him, and the requirement is 20 strength and 20 intelligence and 20 faith, he'll give you his entire armor set and his catalyst, which is the sunset staff. And what his armor does, the only part that you would actually need to wear, it does the same thing as the Sainthood here. Increases the number of casts for each spell. But it actually does more than the Sainthood. But there's your first bonfire. This one I'm going to keep coming up this way. And watch out, because there are moths in here that can poison you. When you come out, just go to your right and go up the stairs and don't just keep going straight. You're going to run into a room that actually has quite a few enemies in it. And if you're good enough, you could just only have to fight 2. But if you run off there and turn around and go underneath the bridge, you have a bonfire. And I'm still unable to find the world of the guilty, so... And you can just kick this tree down for a quick way back up here. And there's 2 bosses in this area. The Executioner's Chariot and the Skeleton Lords. And once you cross this bridge, you can go right. Just keep going right until you get to another small bridge. Which will actually lead you to 3 enemies. One of which being insanely strong and apparently insanely stupid. But then you just go left and up the little hill and keep going straight before you turn left. Kill this enemy and then walk over here to this and you have your notched whip, which basically is this. It's a whip. But what it does is it actually has a pretty good amount of bleed damage on it. But other than that, it only works on people wearing cloth armor or nothing at all. But you're going to want to come through here, and then you have 4 more of these guys to fight. And these guys are the people that you would farm the cracked red eye orbs from. And there's also a whip that you can only get from these guys. That it's called the Bloodied Whip. And what it does is it deals more damage to hollows than it does to normal people. Oh, cool. But I just got a Great Sword +3. But if you notice, there's an item over there. What you're going to want to do is run and jump across to it, and it's a Sublime Bone Dust and another Fire Seed. And if you've been keeping up so far, that is the 5th Sublime Bone Dust. Then you just run back across, and then once you hit the bridge, try to roll back up into the gate so you don't actually fall off, because I've accidentally fallen off. If you really needed a quick escape from that guy, you'd basically want to just run and jump across to either one of these. Effectively not the one I ran and jumped onto just then, but he doesn't respawn, so you're safe. I'm going to try to invade somebody again. Well, cracked blue eye orb didn't work. Let's try a cracked red eye orb. Oh, that didn't work either. So let's just trade the cracked blue eye orb for the white sign summoning sign. And then see if I can actually get summoned. Which isn't going to happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back over to the Executioner's Chariot. And I'm just going to run past all but this enemy because he drops torches. And that just gave, and the 2 times I've killed him, that just gave me like 10 minutes on my torch. Okay, so try to angle towards the door when you jump back across. Or just do exactly what I just did again and fall off and die. Here we go. 3rd time's the charm. I'm just gonna swap to a sword. You know what? I'm gonna go Dragon Rider Twin Blade. And 15 minutes. So now I have 30 minutes on my torch. As you can tell by the design of the Dragon Rider Twin Blade, it's actually more opposed to being a twin blade than what the actual twin blade looks like, which is just a double-ended sword. And if you notice, even though it has the same moveset as the Twin Blade, it's actually way stronger because it also deals magic damage. Which already makes it a better weapon than the Twin Blade. But this Twin Blade is only outdone by the Red Iron Twin Blade, which deals more of like a hammer than a cutting weapon. So I'm just going to drop off everything that I don't need. And just use the twin blade for this boss fight. But you're going to want to be careful in this boss fight, because the actual boss is this big old chariot here. And the skeletons will just keep coming back if you don't kill the hollow mages. And I died. Just because there's those skeletons there. I'm not even going to worry about becoming human again, because honestly it is just a waste of human effigies. Because honestly, you don't need to be human for this boss fight, the Skeleton Lords, and the boss fight after the Skeleton Lords, the Covetous Demon. And as you can see, it actually has pretty good backstab damage, but it's not on par with what I would like it to be. And the different birds that you see me picking up, the small yellow increases lightning resistance, the small orange increases fire resistance, and the small blue increases magic resistance. They don't have one to increase darkness resistance, so because there's kind of really no point in doing darkness resistance. So the only thing I wish I could get is actually the staff that the the executioner people use, because that actually looks like it actually hits pretty hard. So imagine what that could do in PvP. As you can see, I'm wasting no time getting over here. You know what you're going to want to do is you're going to run over here and pull this lever, because it will drop that grate there, which will effectively take a small chunk of the boss's life out, as you can see. And then all you actually have to fight is the horse. But be warned, the horse actually can hit pretty hard. And then the items you see around the area are basically just fading souls. But also, I'm going to show you what the actual executioner himself looks like. This is what the actual executioner looks like. And like, the only weapon I wish you could actually really get is his scythe, because like, come on, that thing looks awesome. The item over here is the only soul in this area that is not a fading soul. It is a soul of a brave warrior. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to come this way. And if you actually have been following my videos since I went down and beat the Rotten and came back up, the token of spite that you get, what you're going to do is you're going to come talk to this guy and just say yes to all of his questions, and you'll join the Brotherhood of Blood.
Yes. All this.
You have to say yes 4 times. Which honestly, in my opinion, is stupid.
This.
And what the Crest of Blood does is it adds 50 bleed damage to any weapon you use.
Those who seek you. Akana. Well, what have you? I have to see.
He sells the Great Scythe and the Priest's Chime, the Delicate String, which increases your chances of being invaded, your Hexing Urns, your Silver Talismans, your Red Sign Soapstone, and 5 Cracked Red Eye Orbs. And then Firestorm, Great Combustion, and Fire Whip. And then if you just keep getting tokens of spite, you come over here, and if you can actually find a duel like I just did, this is basically the easy way to PvP, because it's actually in an arena made for PvP. Like, there's 3 different statues. The first one, which is always going to be the far left one, will always put you in a random area. And I just hit him with Whisper of Despair. And as you can see, I can't tell what sword he was using, but it looks like the Black Knight Ultra Great Sword. Well, the Black Knight Great Sword. And see, if you win, you get a cracked red eye orb. If you lose, you just lose. Now I'm going to actually do a couple of duels. I'm going to do 3 here, and then I'm going to go rejoin the Blue Sentinels and do 3 there. Like, the way the duels work is there is a soul level matchup, but if it can't find any people on your soul level, it will find you somebody to play with. And he actually got lucky with a parry, even though I don't see how he got it. Now I'm going to do one more on the third statue. And there's actually 3 different arenas to fight in. And if you actually die, you actually want to rest at a bonfire and re-get your spells. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune 2 Soul Great Swords and 2 Wrath of the Gods, and then 1 Crystal Soul Spear. So that dude sent me a message saying wrecked. Actually, I'm gonna dual wield poison manslayers. Wow. Almost instantly. So I ended up invading the guy again. And in the same area all 3 times. And as you can actually see, you can the lag. The lag. So I almost beat him. But now I'm going to go over to the Cathedral of Blue and rejoin the Blue Sentinels. But I'm going to end this video here. Opening the next video, I'm going to do my PvPs for the Blue Sentinels.